If you've invested big in hiring a branding agency and the results are average, well, chances are you might be making one of these big mistakes. Now, I've seen clients make these time and time again, and today I'm going to show you what they are so you can avoid wasting money and get the results that you need. Now, of course, when you work with a branding agency, they should educate you as to their process. They should take you on a creative journey and they should guide you. But there is only so much they can do from their side. And some of this stuff really does lie with you, the client. And the more clued up you are, the better the results that you'll see. So let's get straight into it, shall we? I think the first and biggest mistake that I see people make is not engaging with the agency's process. Now, I've seen lots of clients only engage properly when they start to see visuals. But the truth is that the process of creating a great brand starts way before that. So you might not be sure why you're being asked to do something, but do it anyway. If they ask you to complete a questionnaire or a worksheet, do it wholeheartedly. Give it your full attention, because these early steps are creating the foundation for your brand. And the stronger that foundation is, the better that the results that you will see. And you can actually get a head start here by checking out my 5-minute brand strategy video, which I'll link above. Mistake number 2, designing for yourself and not your audience. Repeat after me. You are not your target audience. Your branding needs to resonate with them and not you. So as difficult it is, really focus on trying to remove any personal biases or preferences from your decision-making process. You should be seeing everything through the eyes of your customer. Mistake number 3, micromanaging. Your role should be to oversee and lead the project. Think of yourself as making minor course corrections rather than getting bogged down in the detail of the creative. If you find yourself micromanaging small design decisions, then you've probably overstepped the mark. Leave that stuff to the specialists. They really do know what they're doing, and instead focus on the bigger picture. Now, before we move on, if you're finding this at all helpful, then please do consider liking and subscribing. It'll make sure that you don't miss out on any more straightforward branding tips just like this one. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 4, and that is oversharing too early. Be super careful how many people you show early concepts and ideas to. Now, I know it can be really tempting to get the input of friends and family, but ask yourself, are they your target audience? Now, from the agency side of things, this can often feel like big and key decisions in the project are being outsourced to people who are not even involved in the process, which kind of undermines the process a little bit when you think about it. You know, I asked my nephew Steve and he thinks we should do X, Y, Z. Now, if you really do want to have some extra people in on the project and you want to have some help making those decisions, then I'd encourage you to get those people in at the start of the project, make them part of the full process, and only then will they have the full picture to be able to truly help you make some of those key project decisions. Now, mistake number 5 is thinking in terms of cost and not value. Your branding is a long-term investment that should pay dividends for years to come. So try not to think too much about the upfront cost and instead think of the value that you'll get. And that goes for haggling on price too. Now, look, I'm not saying don't negotiate, but do remember that unlike, say, a house or a car, with services, you don't necessarily get the same thing for less. You might get less work, less focus, or a lower place on the agency's priority list. Mistake number 6 is being inconsistent with your brief or feedback. What you say needs to line up with the way you act and the feedback that you give. For example, if you've told your agency that you want to create a bold and disruptive brand, but then you keep giving feedback to dial down the colors, to be subtle and muted, then don't be surprised if your results feel a little bit disjointed. Mistake number 7 is accepting mediocre deliverables. I actually spoke about this in my video about brand guidelines, which I'll link up here, but don't just accept a PDF because it's polished and packaged nicely. Your deliverable should clearly lay out who you are as a brand, what you stand for, what your position is, and what your values are. It should give clarity on those points. It should be more than just some logo do's and don'ts and some color palette stuff. Ask yourself, does this really give us clarity on who we are and what we stand for as a brand? Mistake number 8 is choosing the wrong agency to begin with. Of course, none of these previous points really matter if you chose the wrong agency to begin with. Don't just rely on a polished portfolio. Do your homework, talk to them, dig into their process, and ask to see some real deliverables so you're truly clear on what you're going to get at the end of the project. So there you have it. Get these 8 things right, and I promise that you'll get really good value from working with any good agency. Join me by subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.